What's up, guys? Welcome back to Hands On Channel. Today I thought we would talk about one of the most kind of overlooked pieces of equipment you're going to need if you're going to get into homesteading or farming or just having a place out in the suburbs where you're going to actually do a lot of the work yourself. Well, let me get out of the way and show you what I'm talking about. You're going to need, to start out with, you're going to need a utility trailer. This one here has just served me very well. It's a 5x10 standard 3,500 pound axle. I've had this thing probably going on 10 years. I acquired it through my father-in-law. He was actually going to get rid of it, and I was like, no way, man, that is the perfect size little utility trailer for just doubling your load capacity on a regular long bed pickup, or if you're just loading that, maybe you have a Suburban and you don't have a long bed, and you don't have a bed at all. Well, this is like perfect for dragging around behind my Suburban. I've dragged it to the Rocky Mountains. I've dragged it up in ice and snow and all kinds of manner of stuff that I, was regretting getting myself into, but it always worked great. I've had a couple of blowouts on the highway. After a while, after having 3 or 4 blowouts in a row on the highway on a double, just a single axle trailer like this, I got tired of buying those Maypop China tires, the trailer tires that they're selling everywhere, and because they're not rated for 70 mile an hour speed. If you read the fine print on them, I think most of them are rated for like maybe 65 or 55 miles an hour. So I ended up putting LT truck tires on here. E-rated tires, and I haven't looked back. I haven't had a blowout since. It's been fantastic. I can take it anywhere that you could take a light truck. It doesn't wobble around like they said it was going to. Maybe that might if you had like really wimpy sidewall tires or something, but these I believe they're Dexteros, and I'd never heard of them. They were just the cheapest all-terrain E-rated tires I could get, and I didn't even need all-terrain, but that was what was available in E-rated that would fit this rig here, and they've been great, man. They were so good, I thought about buying a set to put on my black Chevy just because, they have a nice aggressive pattern on them. But anyways, back to what I'm talking about here. You're going to need a utility trailer. I mean, pretty much if you do any kind of DIY stuff, you're eventually going to need to borrow one at least. And if you're going to be a homesteader or have any kind of a farm or anything like that, you're going to need several of these probably. Fast forward to a month or so ago, I bought that new tractor, new to me tractor. It's really heavy with the weighted tires, and it's got liquid ballast in the tires and the front end loader. We figure it weighs between 6,300 and 6,700 pounds. So obviously I'm not going to be able to carry that. For one, this is not big enough, and for two, the axles would never support that kind of a load. So a little while back, about a week ago, I guess, I was talking to my neighbor, which lives over here. You're not gonna be able to see his place. He's back behind the pine trees there. I was talking to him, and I noticed he had a couple of trailers out there on his property, and I was like, hey, what are you gonna do with those trailers? He's like, oh, funny you should ask. I'm thinking about, selling them or selling one of them and buying a different one, whatever. And I was like, oh, really? Well, be sure to let me know, because I'm actually in the market for a trailer right now. So I kind of put the word out, and got him thinking about it, and I was thinking about it. And I kind of knew what the trailer he had over there, value-wise, was worth and what a fair price would be. And he comes back to me the next day and says, hey, I'll let you have it for X price. And it was a great price. So I was like, okay, let's make it happen. And without further ado, here's what we ended up buying. Let me get the lighting better here for you. I'm going in and out underneath the pine trees, so I have to change the ISO. But anyways, what we ended up buying here is a 18-foot long by 84-inch wide tandem axle. It's a 5,200 pound axle trailer. You can see it's got 6-inch channel underneath it there, and it runs the whole length of the trailer. So I mean, this thing is stout. Heavy duty hitch. I can't remember what that type of hitch is called, but it's one of the better ones, the heavy duty one. It's quicker, I guess, quicker to connect it. And so that is just going to be a game changer. So this thing with the two 5,200 pound axles, I'll easily be able to carry. I figured 9,000, 9,500 pounds, probably more than my 3/4 ton is rated to carry. I could carry it on this, I'm sure. So yeah, I've been getting Brutus Maximus ready for when I need to haul really heavy loads. I can come out here, hook my flatbed up to my flatbed trailer. And the beauty of a flatbed is, you know, the guy with the forklift or whatever that's loading this thing up, say you're getting a pallet of bricks or blocks or something. Well, since there's no sides on it, they can just pull right up this way and load your trailer easily. And also, if you're unloading it, that'll make it a little easier for you as well. So yeah, I'm really stoked about this. This is the first trailer I've ever had that's this heavy duty. It actually has trailer brakes on it, so I'm gonna have to get the brake controller set up in my 3 different trucks, my 3 different tow rigs that I'm gonna pull this thing with. But yeah, really excited about it. As you can probably see, I'll get you closer here. Because I got a cheap price on it, obviously it's gonna need a little work. I've got some boards that basically we're gonna just change all these boards out. So I've been shopping around for that. Unfortunately, wood's really expensive right now, so that's a real bummer. But I'm gonna try to get some treated boards and then basically let those set outside for a while and till that treated material starts to kind of fade a little bit and starts to, you don't want to let it get this white, but when you let the greenness go away, and then you can go back in and put some sort of a sealer, Thompson's water seal or some other, you know, sealer type material. Some people said, as I was researching that online, some people were saying, yeah, the old timers would just use a little kerosene and use motor oil and just mix the right ratio together, or diesel fuel and use motor oil and brush that on there a couple times a year. And I imagine that would work, but I kind of wonder if that would make the surface of it slick. So we may not go that route. We'll probably just use some sort of a sealer that we can brush on once a year or whatever. But yeah, really, really stoked about this thing. It's like, you know, some people buy a Corvette, whatever. I buy a tractor and a trailer. That's my midlife crisis, I suppose. So we're going to put her to use. I can definitely haul hay bales, or, you know, especially square bales would be really easy, but I bet you I could get, you know, 3 to 6 round bales on there, depending on if I've got a way to load them up right. So yeah, this is just going to be a game changer. I'm going to be able to haul my tractor back and forth. Might even be able to use it to make a little money on the side, you know, delivering stuff or hauling heavy stuff for people. So very interesting. Really excited. So yeah, that's what I've been up to for the last week or so. Besides the fact we've been essentially burning almost every day that we can burn because we had such a big ice storm last year. We're still cleaning up from that. So anyways, guys, really stoked about this. We're going to get Brutus Maximus up to snuff. That's my brown truck here. And I kind of quit making videos about it because it didn't really get much traction. But since the last video, I put new tires on it. I pulled the wheels off and painted them up, made them look a lot better. And just, you know, in general, cleaned it up and made it to where it runs pretty decent. I still need to put a carburetor on it and probably an intake. It probably needs a tune-up for sure, because I haven't done any of that kind of stuff to it. So, you know, new plugs, wires, cap, rotor, that kind of stuff. I did the front brake calipers and rotors on it, and I still need to do the back ones. And I've kind of been putting that off because I know on these dualies it's a big deal to do the back brakes, but they're going to need to be done. If anything, they're actually working too well. If I hit the brakes real hard, the back brakes will lock up. So something's going on in there. I need to fix an exhaust leak on it's got a header gasket leaking, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But otherwise, just for an old farm truck, she's a good old runner with a 454 and a 4-speed, so pretty cool. And it's got a granny gear, so I can put the maximum weight on that thing and pull it right down the road. Very cool, very stoked, and just happy and feeling blessed to be able to finally get all this stuff, all these chips to fall into place. Can't believe it finally happened. I've got my very own 18-foot car hauler, equipment hauler. Really stoked about this. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this trailer? I think it's pretty darn spiffy. One of the things, last thing I'll show you about it here. This is the best hand crank I've ever used. I mean, the thing is just buttery smooth. And the nicest part is it's got like an extension thing down here in the bottom. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see that, but there's a pin that goes through that. So that leg, you drop the leg down to the ground and then you raise it up, you know, so you don't have to sit there and crank and crank and crank to get the throw out of it, to lift it up so that you can put an angle on it for when you're storing it. Because, you know, when you're storing a trailer, you don't want to store it perfectly flat. You want to store it like that so that the water will run off. But yeah, in the future, I don't know if we'll do any videos on it or not, but I'll probably do a follow-up and show you what it looks like after the new floor is installed. And if there's anything that I think would be a good learning experience for people, then maybe I will make a video on it. We're also going to be repacking the bearings and checking out the trailer brakes and getting those working, and adding brake controllers to at least 2 or 3 different vehicles. So guys, appreciate you tuning in. Let me know what kind of trailers you have at home, or what do you think you need. I don't think you should, especially if you're going to be a homesteader, you can't get away with borrowing something like this. You might be able to do it a couple of times, but you're going to need it often enough that it's not going to be financially viable to rent one. And unless you got a really good buddy or family member that doesn't mind loaning it to you anytime you want it, more than likely it's going to be too much of a hassle to borrow one. So highly recommend you getting one if you plan on homesteading and surviving into 2021, 2022. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning in. And until then, we'll see you next time.